Okay. Am I live? Waiting to go live. This isn't. Maybe this is it. I don't know why the whole YouTube thing is so funky. Cool. Post that on the tweets. Alright, so pop over to here. So here's the thing. About, I don't know, maybe a year ago. This is what, June 3rd or so. So last year I was working on this problem. And the problem was that there's all these places that host events. And I'm in New York City, there's so many things, right? This is the Public Theater website. So you go here, this is basically, if I want to know, hey, what's going on in the city today, next week, whatever. That's distracting. Where's the chat? Chat. So I have this website, you know, this is Public Theater. What's going on this week or whatever. This is 3/22, right? So I have to go to this website, and this, you know, this is unscalable. So I was like, okay, well, I've got, you know, these different things. I gotta do this, you know, a bunch of different places, different venues. This is Public Theater. You got the Public Library. You've got this is Lincoln Theater. You've got this little island thing. So they have some events. Okay, so I've got to go here. I gotta read. Okay, well, this and that, and there's so many different places, so many different things. I don't want to have to go to every single website and check out what's happening. Okay, my video is freezing. Anyway, that's not. So here's what I did. I built out this little system that reads in all these different events, parses them, reconverts them to the RFC 5545 standard. This is an iCalendar standard, which basically is a way of defining how events should be listed on the website. So I was like, oh, how do we get these things? This is exactly how you do it. This has been a long standard for a while. This is, I don't know why it's not loading, but there's a standard, and this is how everyone does it. So here's the thing: I created all these lists of events, and here's my Google Calendar. So look, I will show you. Where is Public Theater? So here, Public Theater. So this is also kind of like, okay, you know, what I gotta do? It's 3/20/22. Okay. So look, here's the thing: you have this Watch Me Work. We've got this Joey Arias. It's got the skivvies. So I have built a system that will go to each of these websites, parse out the HTML. Sometimes there's a JSON backend. I can ping, get the data, put it into this format. Look at that. Got Joey Arias. I've got the skivvies. I don't have the third one for some reason, but look, it's really convenient because this is my calendar. This is exactly what. I can look at this calendar anytime from look at all these different places. The Barclays Center, Brooklyn Steel, City Parks, all of the dozen of different places. Dozen plus. I know exactly what's happening in all these places at any time. It's not a perfect system because, you know, I'm parsing HTML and whatnot, so that's not perfect. You know, like What's up with this watch me work thing? I don't know. These two. Yes, okay. What's going on tonight? Boom, 1, 2, 3. I can do this skivvies thing if I wanted to. Where is it? It's at Joe's Pub, of course. How do I get into it? It's right there in the text in the description of the calendar event. It's beautiful. I love doing this. I can bang this out really quickly. But I'm not, yeah. So, I did this last year, and it was great. I enjoyed doing it. Helped out a lot. Got a few more things to do with it. But, you know, for a time, I couldn't actually, it was like open source stuff I had to work through, but I got the approvals from Google that I can work on it in public, do this open source thing, do the streaming thing. So that's what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to go ahead, publish the source code, add a few more different sources. So you're gonna see this code get open sourced tonight, and I'm going to tackle some of these issues. And then maybe if you have some time, I can, you know, work on some monitoring, some testing. I don't know, probably not though, but yeah. Let's get into it. Here's the code. There's a million different things here, so I gotta do a git ignore. VS Code, gotta ignore. I'll probably just delete these. So, right, I've got, yeah, so another thing that I've got, okay, thank you, a couple of RSS feeds as well. And I can work through, so this is kind of a mix of calendars, RSS. I should actually rename the repository right now while I'm thinking about it, because it's really, the thing that really bugs me about the web today is that it's not standardized. You know, we do all this stuff, all this cruft, all this UI for fun, but then we really screw up the actual web part of it, the semantics, right? And this is when, you know, calendars are a great example because I don't like this. It's inconsistent with every other calendar list in the world. I had to go to this website specifically to see what's going on. I don't like either of those things. And now I've got, okay, well, how do I do the skivvies? And I gotta click on this thing. Like, I don't want to have to look at all this stuff. I just want to be able to get the tickets or get the information. I just, you know, it's digital bureaucracy. And we should minimize bureaucracy. We should make it easier to see what events are going on. RSS is the same way. So, I can walk through kind of a bit. This is the index page right here. It's hosted on Firebase. You can see I've got a couple of different RSS feeds. This is like the Congress RSS feed. Basically, I'm taking this website, which is I went, so you know, we have this political media, and that says, oh, here's all the bills that are happening. And I don't really want to just rely on them because they look at because you would listen to the political media and they would say, oh, Congress is so divided they can't get anything done. That's not entirely true, right? There's a lot of different laws that have just been passed. look at this is all stuff that's happening in the past couple months, and you look at and you would think that this stuff doesn't happen. Now, not all of, I mean, like, you know, that's not necessarily big. You know, naming post offices is kind of, yeah, it's fine. But then there are other things that are, you know, I'd like to be able to know what's happening without that sort of, the sort of filter that you have to go through. But this is all public knowledge, right? And it's just on this website, which is very annoying to have to deal with. So this actually just goes through, parses the text out, and it creates an RSS feed. And then it goes out to this function. I can just pull it in, and I can read this into any RSS reader that's out there. It's a standard format. It's elegant. Pull it into Feedly, and I'm happy with it. So that's my spiel. iCal. So I've got, you know, a bunch of different places. A couple of the different, you know, the Shed and YPL. They're not working, so I kind of had to comment those out. This creates an iCal event with all these events. iCal link. And I can show you really quick before I actually do anything real. Brooklyn Steel here. I'm going to add, so the way that I set this up is that the calendars that you request are going to be this query parameter. I have this debug equal true. So when I have that turned on, it's basically going to send out direct text so that I can view it in a web browser. Otherwise, the browser is going to interpret it as being an iCal MIME type, and then it's going to end up trying to download the code, download the calendar. And so so there you go. Actually, you can't see it, but you can see it. It kind of It opens up. It opens up as text. It opens up my calendar, which is, you know, not what I want because I'm trying to show this off to people. So, oh, didn't want to do that. What? What am I listening to? Severe thunderstorm watch. Let me take a quick gander at that. That's not the song, that's actually what's happening. Thunderstorm watch is in effect until 11 p.m. Expires in 4 hours. Alright, that sucks, but I'm inside, so. Why is my chat window now broken? Thank you. Well, let's keep that. So you can see it. It just puts out this data in a very specific format. So stick figure is playing on the 8th of March at this time. I think I said that's tonight. Why is that not showing up in my I don't know, it's kind of a little finicky. Just a little bit. But overall, you know, it works. So I'm going to go ahead and work on committing this code. I'm going to add the RSS feeds. I'm going to add all the iCal and iCal, but I'm not going to add NYPL, not the shed. Expose as Firebase functions. Remote and GitHub, git push tab. Alright, so you can see code is now uploaded. You can go to functions and source feeds. Kind of, it's all sort of mixed in there, RSS and calendars. Yeah. So that was cool. It's up there. Now I'm going to add a couple more based on recent experiences. First is going to be Irving Plaza. So here's the schedule. This is fine. Reliant K is playing. Wow. Kind of strange. So, I don't know, let me... I guess kind of like Brooklyn Steel, any Live Nation should actually work. Because I really just want to be able to go and scrape these events from my calendar. A lot of it's going to be the same basically, where I just, here's a bunch of the events. And then I iterate through the events, convert them into this events object, which is basically containing all of the iCalendar parameters. Let's pass that back as this events feed, and then I actually go to this iCal thing. This is actually where I take my events feed, make some sense out of it, you know, and create this format. And usually I'm going to be using Cheerio to do it, which is this very handy HTML parser. So if I take a look at this website, basically what I really want to do is it's, wow, this is a lot of network requests, but basically it's doing a lot of stuff out here. I want to be able to find out how is this data being sent. because to the credit, some of these these websites do provide fairly parsable information. Yeah, so it looks like they're doing that in the base response. You can see that here they're creating these LD-JSON schemas, music events. I can take advantage of those and just parse those pretty easily. So let's do const items equal. I'm looking for script type equals application LD-JSON. So it's very jQuery like system here. And I'm just gonna let me just log out items.length items. I'm gonna go open up this demo file, which I'm basically just using as this quick scripting thing. And since each of the things are these really very simple modules, every feed is a separate module. I can just say you're in demo. We open up a temp file. Nope. Gotta go to functions. Oh shoot, messed up. I think I screwed up. Leaking some keys. The guy goes new 12. And I'll fix that later. So on this demo, nope, didn't like that. What am I doing wrong? No. This worked last time I touched it, so. It's not. I see. I don't like. I gotta figure out how to turn it off. But it's like, oh man, every time I want to test something, I've got to comment all this code out. You know, I'm not happy about that. All right, so we see it is spitting out quite a bit of stuff. Okay. I'll pipe that to a temp file. And that text. Whatever. So we get 24 events, which have this application LD-JSON attached to them. So 24, I'm assuming, are musical events. We can actually check a bit after, but first I want to make sure I can print out, get the actual content. All right. We have these Cheerio objects now. Let me get the text contents. And if this works, then we're able to see basically something that's parsable. Did not work. Let me do HTML. I think that's the right. No. Is the right? Yeah. I don't think that's the right syntax. Ah, okay, so we get the HTML. So we can see we've got 24 different music events, which matches exactly what is on this page, down to Johnny Swim. Now, if we click here, show more, we can actually look, there's some sort of JSON request that's being made. Maybe we can just copy that. Now give us a greater set of data. So we can do it. That's default URL. Body await res.json. And let's return body. So we can do for let equals I guess 1. Say 5. Alright, so we have our events. And it's going to be in this format here. So this is all is like. So we can actually go a bit deeper. Print out each event in its entirety. And let's go ahead and look at the temp. Cheerio is not being used. Alright, so we have all these events. Now we can actually start to go ahead and start out. We can add a summary. So we can go ahead and look at the stuff here. You've got constant EV equals that. We've got EV dot name. URL is going to be EV dot. Where we buy tickets. URL. Description. Well, let's kind of guess this URL. Location. Can we assume that this is always going to be Irving Plaza? Yeah. We could put geolocation if we really wanted to. Categories if we wanted to do that. These are sort of optional. Now DT start, so this is one of the required fields as part of the RF5545 spec. Boop-a-doo. Got this nice little timestamp thing here. So can I just, hopefully I can just throw this into my get time. Oh, let me kind of here. ET start equals get time. EV dot event date timestamp UTC. And then I can do DT end. DT start get time. Now I'll just add 3. I'm kind of making an assumption that Contra is going to last 3 hours. Let me add 2. And we do 3, just as a thing. We're just going to assume it ends 3 hours, takes 3 hours end to end. And we have this event. Now let me cut out this thing here, and we'll run the temper thing again. And you see this is a very quick iterative process to build one of these modules out. I'm hoping this works. But it's taking less than an hour. Now we've been able to pour something out. We have, here we go, this very nice calendar feed. And this whole thing appears to be very well parsed out. Syntax highlighting seems to end at some point because of that. Well, it's fine. That doesn't matter. But you pulled all the events up until 2030 apparently. And then 2022 to here's 2023. We got this Dusty Locane so far gone. These are scheduled for 2030, so you can see that we are very far ahead where we need to be. So there you go. Irving Plaza is right there. We can go over to our index here. Add it there, go to Irving Plaza, save it. Now we upload this code. And we're going to be able to add in this extra parameter. And I'll show how it actually works in production. Another one I'll queue up is King's Theater. And you can see we imported it as Irving Plaza. We're going to have this ejected into this calendar map. And go, through all the keys in our query. If we do it, we're going to get all the. It's going to pull it, obtain the feed. Do a little bit of filtering. And output this calendar. If we put the bug query enabled, we're going to set the thing text plain, otherwise it's text calendar, which is the standard format. Now we're waiting for Firebase to upload our code. There we go. So you can see on cal fetch, Irving Plaza debug true. for the stuff to load. There we go. So this is live. So this is exactly how straightforward it is. So before we have the summary, we have these times, descriptions, everything up to 2030. So now I can add this to my Google Calendar or any other calendar software that I might be using. I'm going to add a calendar from URL. So here we go. Let's copy that link in. Remove debug equals true. Make it publicly accessible. Add calendar. Now it's going to be fetching the stuff in the background. So we're all set for there. So let me go ahead and commit that. At Irving Plaza calendar. Oh, let me amend that. So that is issue number 2. Fixes number 2. All right. Next up, King's Theater. I went to this a couple weeks ago. I want to continue to subscribe to what's happening. So here's the website. Now here's the HTML. The one thing I usually try to do is look at this, kind of go to the next page and see what the website has to do to get that next set of data. And that will generate a bunch of things. So it spits out a lot of this HTML. I might have to just parse the HTML. And there's all these other stuff that's happening. So that's fine. So I'm going to go to Bookland Steel and I'd call this King's Theater. So we'll create an async function. Let's call this get events for page. Page is a number. Our URL is going to be this. Const body equals res.text. And we'll return the body. Let's do I equals 1. Again, we'll do I is less than 5. Const events equals get events for page I. Await that. And let's go ahead and log events. And we'll comment out this and that. Now a demo thing here, let's call this King's Theater. And we'll just dump a bunch of HTML out. And it runs, it takes a few seconds, certainly. The system that I built does not have any caching enabled. It could. It's just a choice to save time or whatever. Let me try to find I'm gonna try to work on this parsing. King's Theater tour. Historic tours, okay. So const equals Cheerio dot load body. Const items equals, I'm going to select div card production calendar white. And then for let j equals 0, j is less than items dot length j plus plus. Let me go ahead and just verify. I can do const. I'm glad that I'm doing both an HTML and a JSON parser. Here, so your summary. This is going to be, well, first let me do item equals items I. So item dot find card title text trim. I'm going to print this out. And if we're correct, we should be able to get a printout of all the different titles. Here we go. This isn't exactly working, actually. You want to use J instead of I. There we go. Here's all the different events that are happening. So, do not like that. Date. Gotta fix that later, but I really need to get. I want to see what else is being printed out in these things. For now. I'll get item dot find calendar time dot text dot trim. URL. We're going to say it's item dot find card actions dot a button primary dot attribute hyperreference. There's also this learn more, which is the secondary thing. I can do card actions, a button secondary button, well, button outline secondary. I could do URL is going to be tickets, I suppose. Make it more description. So we can say tickets, more info, more tick by tickets. And that's about all that we've got in this data. There's an image, we're not gonna, there's no place for an image, so let's comment out this HTML. Now we can focus on getting the calendar time out. Alright. Try to get rid of those, all those spaces. Actually, should make that there we go. Do dt start equals get time again, we can just make an assumption that's going to last 3 hours. We got rid of that console thing, delete that line. And now when you run this is going to hopefully print out the contents in this very nice. There we go. For the summary, we got all of the correct dates being parsed out. No, we're not. Well, the dates aren't correct. So now these are going to be, looks like 19th, 20th. So it looks like this is functioning. So go ahead and add this in alphabetically. And we can go ahead and let me deploy that. And that's issue number 3. So that's King's Theater. And again, we're going to have this public link that we'll be able to show off. Those are, once I get to this third one, and I can maybe work on some landing page stuff. I don't know, it's fine. We've got some time. Let me get a refill of my water while it's uploading. Alright. So, load this, put that at King's Theater. And we can see we got all the events listed up till basically in early November. So go ahead, add a new URL. Add that in. It's gonna start posting events. And what was the Irving Plaza thing like? So on the 10th, they've got this Half Alive tour. We can go ahead and verify on the 10th. Well, it's there. Time zones are kind of screwed up here, aren't they? That's not a hard fix. But it is a necessary one. Jump back to the code. Don't really know what the people in chat are saying. Alright, so when's the time zone stamp? It says the 5th and 5 a.m. neutral GMT, basically. Which is not correct. I think this is the time zone UTC. I'm also moving it to a time zone. I don't want to do that. I don't have to in this case. Okay, so now still saying it's 5. I assume it's the local time zone. I need to say this is going to be, I don't know, London maybe? My headphones just died, so this is kind of weird. Take those off, I suppose. Alright, so now it's saying it's 0 GMT, which is going to be 7-ish. So that's fixed. We'll upload that, fix it later. Yeah, so this is sort of, I think that's correct. Yeah, LPR. Again, this is going to have to be pushed back a little bit. King's Theater looks like it's correct, except for that part. So no, cute. Okay. King's Theater, NYC. It just needs add in that extra preamble to the URL, and we'll be good to go. Alright, so go 2 down, 2 down. Minor parse fixes. One more I'm going to get to tonight is this IPO calendar from Market Watch. So I can have all the IPOs that are happening, just stick that right in my calendar so I don't need to visit this website anymore. Now this is going to be a little more abstract. Because you don't necessarily know when the markets are going to have the things, you know. It doesn't tell you which day of the week. It says this is the week of so-and-so. Body, make that a string, I guess. No, make it like an any. It's a Cheerio object. Interface, this is going to be an IPO. An company name. Make that a symbol. Exchange, a string. Price, range, make that a string. Shares, make that a string too. And because they got this nice little table thing here, so let me go ahead and do res with await fetch default. Alright, const body equals res.text. This is asynchronous. Const equals Cheerio.load body. Console log body. Let's print that out. In the future, we'll parse this. We'll do the parsing as well. I'm not going to need space time here. The IPOs is not used. Let's shoot. Ryan is fetching. Alright, that didn't work. Alright, so this normally, let's see. Dot element table dot table primary. Let I equals 0, I is less than tables dot length I plus plus console log tables I dot HTML. This is not exactly the data that I'd like to get out. I'm going to try again. There are 5 primary tables. This is going to be withdrawn IPOs, I guess. Maybe. Recently priced this week. Next week. Future. Let me try upcoming. Pane is going to be a div with the data tab pane of upcoming IPOs. which I think is going to print out only the information in this, and I can narrow down from there. Yes, that's what happens. Now I can go to upcoming pane.find and print out those two tables only. Okay, so I can do, actually cut this out. Const this week is going to be get IPOs tables 1 or 0. Next week we're going to get tables 1. And since this is looking like it's going to same either way, we can really just look at this one. So rows, we can do body dot find tr. Let I equal 0. I is less than rows. Length I plus plus. Const columns, we're going to do rows dot find td. I'm going to do log calls. And we'll see what pops out from that. Yeah. Events.push. IPO for name. Description. ev.shares at EV price range on the exchange. And let's start, so we're going to have to do get this Sunday, get Monday, const date equals new date. All date dot get day is less than 1. Date dot set date while date dot get day is greater than 1. We'll do minus 1. Date set hours as 0, date dot set minutes as 0, and we'll just let the seconds kind of go. Get Monday. Well, is that? Maybe we'll make it 9 for when the market's open. And this closes at 16 o'clock. 5 is a Friday. We'll do the same thing for next week. Now we'll do the demo up. Do the text columns. Great. Let j equals, well no. Agios.push, so name, we're gonna make that calls 0.text. Symbol is gonna be calls 1.text. Exchange is calls 2.text. Price range is calls 3.text. Shares. Huh. No, I messed something up. I think. No, I didn't. Well. Let me just look up what the text is supposed to be. No. I wonder if I'm being throttled for some reason. I'm not being throttled, but I'm not finding all the tables. Tables 2. Oh, there's an error here. Can't read text undefined. If not calls, continue. So you gotta watch out for some of these things. There's some trickiness to parsing HTML, as it turns out. Yeah, it's better to go with something machine readable, which I'm trying to work around here. Yeah. Cheerio.load. Nah. It's the first one. We really should be getting the body only. So now I can get the for I can do calls 0. And then I can do text. Nope. This is a bit wonky. So that's columns. Find is not a function, so that's the printout. And then we'll add the URL as being column 0 dot header reference. And so start dot set date. Set date plus 7. Run this once more, and there we go. Let me clean up some of this stuff here. Alright, so we go, you can have a calendar. We have 4,000 shares at $4 on the NASDAQ exchange. That's running from the 14th to the 18th. Alright, it doesn't seem correct, but I can't dispute it. So let's go with it. So we can, you know, take a look. How it's gonna turn out. It's gonna be one thing. It's gonna. What we need though to see it, and I can finally close it off my to-do list. Now looking at the thing here, we're gonna be able to close off task number 4. What I like about this system generally is that it's, you know, each module is about 100 lines of code at most. So it's pretty easy to go in there and see what's going on, as long as they all conform to the spec. You know, it's good. You don't have a landing page, you know, it's something I'd like to do, because right now there's no documentation, no README. It's all just sort of out there. Boop-a-doo, boop-a-doo. Waiting for this to upload. So this is all synced up. And I can close some of these things. So here's the RFC 5545. Kind of documents all the different ways, all this stuff. It's from 2009. Last time we touched it. I think there's quite a few things that I'd like to see added to the spec. You know. But then, you know, there's all this other interesting things. Like we have this to-do system, this journaling system. These are all things that these components that exist that no one really uses, and I think that's quite a shame. We could really improve our ability to to create interoperable stuff. I don't know why it's saying 908. So we're going to go ahead and add our URL, remove that debug, and add that in. It's going to start fetching events in the background. So some of this stuff will get fixed. This should get fixed at some point once the calendar refreshes. That too. I don't know why there's two separate events, but that's what there is. Tame Impala. But now, you know, you can see, you can very quickly. Oh, there we go. So there's some time zone problems going on there, as you can see. But other than that, you can see it pops up right there. It tells you this is a week-long event. Tells you all you need to know there. And we can go ahead and rename this to IPO calendar. So we see Aconda is IPOing next week. And we'll go ahead and patch that timing issue. And we'll see whenever calendar pulls it in next. I think it's every couple hours, maybe 6 hours. That sounds interesting. So yeah, this is all kind of a neat way, you know, just put events in a calendar, right? I don't want to have to jump through hoops just to find out what's happening at Irving Plaza. Just give me the data in a machine readable format, and I can stick it in here. So I've got, you know, at this point, I don't know, close to 20, maybe 24 or so different calendars that I've been able to start parsing. I'm pretty sure half of, maybe not half, but some of these are not working. So I need to add some monitoring to it. Unit tests or some sort of integration tests to verify events are being parsed. So maybe tomorrow, if not maybe Thursday, I'll work on this monitoring software. We can go ahead and patch any issues that we're going to find. And then we can add this landing page, add some documentation to this, and make it look nice. And I don't know anything about Aconda, but now I know that they're IPOing, so it's all there right in my calendar, making my life more convenient. And of course, because this is all, you know, machine readable, anyone can now begin to take this stuff and wrap it in whatever system that they want to use. You know, the iCalendar specification is very nice. It's very nice. I just wish that there was more that you could do with it. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and push my code. A few things left, and yeah, that's it. Have a good night.